In the quiet city of Ogden, Utah, the hi-fi shop stood as a popular destination for music lovers and audiophiles. It was the go-to place for the latest stereo equipment, record albums, and everything related to high-fidelity sound. The shop had a friendly atmosphere, with knowledgeable employees who offered expert advice to customers seeking the perfect audio experience. But on a fateful day, in April 22nd, 1974, the hi-fi shop transformed from a haven of music to the site of a horrifying crime that would forever stain the city's history. It went like any regular day, with employees opening the shop's doors, ready to assist customers and share their passion for sound. Upon closing time, however, an unexpected darkness descended upon the store. Unbeknownst to the employees, a group of men had been plotting a robbery, meticulously planning every detail. What followed was a horrifying ordeal that lasted for hours. Armed with guns and restraints, the assailants entered the hi-fi shop, their faces hidden behind masks, and swiftly overpowered the unsuspecting staff. Fear filled the air as the employees were forced to the ground, their hands tied and their mouths gagged. The masked intruders, fueled by a twisted desire for control and wealth, began their reign of terror. About $25,000 worth of equipment was stolen from the store, but their greed was far surpassed by their sadistic nature. What followed was a nightmarish ordeal that defied comprehension. One by one, the assailants selected their victims, subjecting them to unimaginable horrors. Bound and defenseless, the victims, 2 employees, a young customer, and 2 parents that later came to the store to check on their children, were brutally tortured, sexually assaulted, and subjected to extreme physical as well as psychological abuse. The assailants used various methods, including the force-feeding of a drain cleaner to all the hostages, strangulation, and jabbing a pen in one of the victims' ears to exert their sadistic power, relishing every moment of control over their helpless captives. The hi-fi shop, once filled with the melodies of music, now echoed with agonized screams and pleas for mercy. This ended up annoying the assailants because they believed that the killings were messy and taking too long. One by one, they systematically killed 3 of the captives, extinguishing their lives with cold, heartless gunfire into each of their heads, and leaving their bodies inside the store. Miraculously, 2 of the victims survived, but were cursed with the permanent physical and psychological trauma they endured. News of the hi-fi murders spread like wildfire, leaving the city of Ogden into a state of shock and disbelief. Law enforcement launched a vigorous investigation, determined to bring the perpetrators to justice and find solace for the grieving families. As time passed, the truth slowly unraveled. One of the assailants' colleagues working with the American Air Force contacted the authorities to report having a conversation in which the robbery of the same hi-fi store was mentioned. Additionally, a couple of teenagers dumpster diving near the Hill Air Force Base found personal belongings that belonged to the victims of the hi-fi murders, such as driver's licenses. One of the responding detectives that arrived at the base had an ingenious idea. Operating under the assumption that the killers were within the crowd of airmen that gathered around the scene, the detective spoke dramatically and waved the evidence in the air in an attempt to provoke a reaction. The airmen all stood still in silence, with the exception of 2 men, who were later identified as the perpetrators of this heinous crime. A third person was also revealed as the group's getaway driver. In a manner of speaking, their masks had finally been removed to expose the faces of seemingly honorable individuals who had resorted to extraordinary evil. Unfortunately, not all those responsible were unmasked. As it turns out, there were a total of 6 people involved in this crime, with the others aiding as lookouts and loading the 2 vans that were used. There was only enough evidence, however, to convict 3 of the assailants. The 2 murderers were sentenced to death, while the getaway driver was only imprisoned for aggravated robbery. The hi-fi murders became a chilling cautionary tale, reminding the world of the depths of human cruelty, the scars left on the survivors, families, and community, as well as the reality that justice isn't always served completely. The hi-fi shop, once a sanctuary of music and joy, became a haunted place, forever engraved with the memory of those who lost their lives in the name of greed and sadism.